Hi, I'm Michael Owen and I'm thrilled to join Weeks as their global brand ambassador. In football, success comes from precision, speed and strategy. Every move matters. With 1,000 plus trading pairs, you can trade spot, futures and more. And security? Weeks leads the way with Plus, a 1,000 Bitcoin protection fund. Join me on Weeks, where new wealth is made.
Hey legends, and welcome to the final session of day 5 of our 2025 7th annual Congress. Can you believe it? So big welcome to everybody that's joining us. Maybe you've been watching the shows already. We've had an absolutely amazing week and a fantastic day. We've had a full week focused on education, market insights. We've had practical guidance, everything designed to help you become a stronger and more confident trader. This year, Trading Congress has been supported by our amazing partners, EdgeX and Weeks. So a really, really big shout out to them. And because of them, it's made this free for everyone. All the key links can be found down in the description if you are watching this on YouTube. If you're following us here and watching this on X, then you can find it over on the Burb Nest Twitter profile. Right, now, for me, big challenge is shutting up, because what we're doing today is amazing. We've only ever done it once before, but we're bringing in pretty much the entire market analyst team here at the Burb Nest. I have the absolute pleasure of meeting with these legends. Every week we discuss market ideas, sentiment, where we think the markets are going and the reasoning behind it. And we wanted to open this up again for everybody to have a chance to come in and see how we do this. So my job is to sit back and let these legends speak. So before we get on, and I'm going to share my thoughts for the close of 2025 heading into 2026, and then we're going to get the thoughts of all these legends afterwards. Let's introduce and bring everybody on to the show. We have our wonderful Just Pit with us as well, the legend trading tank himself, Taha, our wonderful Taha, and the tech wizard himself, Razoon. Guys, what an absolute pleasure to see you all. How are we doing?
Doing great, Reese. Man.
Awesome. It's been a long week. It's been an exciting week. We're in a turbulent market with the things going all over the place. So I don't want to waste any time. What I really want to do is bring all of you guys in and get your thoughts. But what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to share a couple of thoughts for me on how we're kind of closing out the year in 2025. I'm going to shill a chart on the screen while we are here just to kind of give people my thoughts on this. All right. So for me, the reason I'm really bullish heading into 2026, right, is because of what's going on in legacy markets, and we're going to get some amazing input on that from Taha, who's unbelievably in tune with those markets, and we're going to get the same from the trading tank as well. And one of the things that's really pivotal to our meetings on a weekly basis is really looking at, you know, global macro, looking at crypto on a macro scale as well, breaking that down into key levels, plans, sentiment, and everything that goes with it. Now, unfortunately, we normally have KZM with us as well. He's unfortunately not able to join us today. So we are going to lose a little bit of our edge on the kind of on-chain and fundamental side. But again, remember, you've all got access to the Discord at the moment. You can go and find everything out for his thoughts within his channel and on the Discord. So why am I bullish heading into 2026? Well, from a non-chart perspective, we've got a massive debt buyback in the US, looking at basically quantitative easing probably coming in. We've got fiscal stimulus across Europe at the moment, Germany leading the way on that. We've got a new Fed chair coming in, replacing Powell. There's a lot of work being done by Trump, really, to make that, to gain as much influence on the Federal Reserve as he can, to really make sure those rate cuts go through. And if the US, which they've shown so far, can keep GDP stable, right, and maybe even look at a little bit of growth whilst keeping inflation under control, ultimately that paints a good picture for risk assets. Now, if we look at the threat that's been faced in recent times and why we've probably seen a little bit of kind of deleveraging, we've seen the markets pull back a little bit, and crypto obviously hit the hardest, is because if we kind of put this into a microcosm, we're coming into Christmas, we're coming into the close of the year. Bitcoin, crypto is your kind of major or your beta risk asset, if you like. So any uncertainty in the market is going to be super sensitive. And we've heard a lot about the premise of the AI bubble. And for me, there's a lot of differences in that. I know we've discussed it a lot, guys, but if I look at previous bubbles, Asian tigers, Japanese housing market, look at the dot-com bubble, which is probably the one most people know of, you're talking about massive overinflated valuations of companies that either had very small or no earnings. And, most of it was debt funded. So you kind of created this perfect storm for the blow up. At the moment, we're looking, I think, at less than 30% debt funded. Most of the funding going into the AI space is CapEx. You've got Nvidia leading the charge, who continue to smash earnings. Unless we really see that start to falter, or we start hearing from some of these major companies, maybe Meta or someone comes out and says, we're going to rein in our CapEx. I think we've seen a lot of the kind of systemic shocks that have come into the space. So to back that up in terms of technicals, I've been, looking at this, and I know Raz certainly looks at this in a very similar way that I do, right? If you're looking for these major consolidations, right, these powder kegs that when they blow up and they send price out into, either price discovery or looking for higher prices, we're in a consolidation here or in an area of balance, we're then out of balance or in a point of expansion, further consolidation, the market keeps reaching higher. We then ultimately plateaued up here, right? And then started to break down. So when we started to lose these levels pretty quickly, and we're going to go through this on the daily in a second, the key one for me has been this area. I'm a very simple creature, as you will probably know. So for me, I'm saying to myself, well, where are the buyers? Where are the buyers really want to defend this market? And where did they really step in most aggressively? And for me, it's this area down here. So we've seen an initial reaction here. So, with trading, you either want to be kind of early and happy to kind of risk a little bit more, but ultimately the risk does tend to repay you with some reward. I'm someone that likes to see a little bit more confirmation when I trade. So to see this level hold here, I'm not ashamed to say I wasn't in this pump on the way up. I really want to see this prior consolidation start to hold up here on Bitcoin and price getting back above that. And if we don't see that, then I'm looking for a rejection here to take us back down to start testing some of these previous and newly made areas of demand. So hopefully that puts in a relative nutshell what I'm looking for. I'm looking to overlay my thought process heading into 2026 by getting some backup on the charts. I'm not the kind of trader that catches bottoms or sells tops. I like to wait to see some key levels kind of reclaimed. And for me, this is where we sit. We're either kind of pulling back, to around about the 88 region, ideally after touching into these areas, which we can see we've just kind of tagged into this one first. Or if we really see price absolutely blow through here, basically we end up back, in this upper range that was created here. So I know Pitt's got some amazing levels and some technicals to run through with this as well. And I know everybody's got their own, particular view of this. But I actually quite like to go and bring Taha in on this, first of all, because Taha is probably, even more so than me, a very legacy market focused trader, right? Obviously very experienced, great technical understanding, a CMT as well, chartered market technician. So what are you seeing maybe in traditional markets or legacy markets, as we would say, Taha, that makes you feel bullish or bearish heading into the close of 25 and the start of 2026?
Thank you, Reese. Can you guys hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, Good introduction, Reese. And For the legacy market, yes, if you guys have listened me yesterday, and I covered most of what I'm discussing here in shorter part, is the DXY chart. I was drawing three scenarios for the year end and for at least the first quarter and the second quarter. And let me share my screen quickly, and then I'll tell you. Okay. So this is the DXY chart. I know somehow we don't give importance to DXY because the correlation has been very much muted with the equities market, but it still has. This is the weekly chart of DXY, and right now we are standing at a very critical level, that if we break out this zone, we will head up higher, and to higher we are targeting about 106, 107 area.
Mhm.
So for this DXY, if we have this will be my first scenario. If we have this breakout, then of course the equity market, the risk on markets go will be under pressure.
Mhm.
All right. Because we all hearing this, we are in the bear market, we are in the bull market. I mean, I think right now, right at this moment, we are standing at make or break level, and
Mhm.
this the upcoming Fed meeting will decide basically where we are heading. And at the same time, if we are going to go lower from here, I don't think so this trend line will support now, because it is a long trend line from 2008. It
Mhm.
might not look perfect on the weekly chart, but you see how many tests it has done. So
Mhm.
technically, we say the more tests, the better. But at the same time, the more test, the weaker it becomes. So if this supports goes out, we will be heading out to 88 level. So 6 or 7 points upside for the DXY, and similarly 10 points to the downside. And if we are heading to the downside, of course, most of you will not trade DXY, but we do trade risk on market, we do trade risk of markets. So if we are heading towards lower, then of course the equities market, the crypto will boom, the all season will come in.
Mhm.
And if of course this is a weekly chart, we just drawing the scenarios, we are uh, talking about the bigger picture here. So these two scenarios will come into play. And surprisingly, when I was making let me yeah when I was preparing my presentation for the webinar which I had yesterday, uh, I was going through, okay, which markets perform well in the year to date performance for 2025. And
Mhm.
I know we all know the answer, but uh, why did it happen? We have to stop and think, okay, this was the scenario was in play. So commodity market was the one who was in super cycle. I
Mhm.
mean, gold performed more than 57% year to date. Silver is beating right now. It has given 77% return. So
Mhm.
we were in the commodity super cycle, and when we have those commodity super cycle, we usually don't perform. The equity markets don't perform well.
Mhm.
And maybe if we look at gold chart, if we look at silver charts, it is eyeing for another all-time highs.
Mhm.
So the scenario, again, these are small puzzles, and when you start matching them, you connect your dots.
Mhm.
uh, so if somehow this DXY will remain under pressure due to whatever policies is coming in, then of course we'll see the commodities rising, commodities making new highs,
Mhm.
and of course our equities market, our risk on markets will perform. So this is my thoughts for the legacy market. DXY is very important right now. It is standing at critical level. Uh, as I said, it's a make or break level.
Mhm.
So just keep an eye on it if you follow legacy market, and if you don't, just keep an eye on it. If you have a breakout, these things will translate into your alt season. I mean, we all are waiting for the alt season. So maybe maybe with DXY crashing, we will have those alt season.
Yeah, well, thanks, Taha. I mean, wonderful insights as always. You know, I'm a very keen follower of the DXY, and like you said, for equity markets, the correlation has been very, very poor this year, right, compared to what it is in previous. Normally, you're looking for weakness in the DXY to signal that you've got this kind of, this transition to this realm where risk on sentiment is going to be really, really hot. And then the flip side of it is you want to see the weakness in the the weakness in the DXY to see that hot. Then you want to see the strength in the DXY to put that pressure on risk markets. And I think we've had a really interesting one with gold and commodities. Like you say, we've seen them just so super strong, but equities have actually held up pretty well alongside them because, we've had these monsters like AI, Meta, obviously by AI, I mean NVIDIA, as well as some others, really driving that train, right? And like Lynn Alden says, there's no stopping this train ultimately. So I think they're really good insights. And I would say that if you're a crypto trader that doesn't really pay attention to legacy markets, then the DXY is probably going to be one of the most important things for you to really understand in that respect. I'm a big fan of the VIX as well, the volatility index, right? But it can be a little bit more short term. So we've got some really, really good input there from Taha, right? What we're looking for, we can understand now why we're at a pivotal point. And I massively respect the fact that it's very difficult at the moment to commit one way or the other, right? Like I say, I'm more in the bullish camp as we head into 2026, but purely on news, fundamentals, all of which can change very quickly, especially when you've got a character like Donald Trump in charge of the United States, right? Okay, we've got the context, we've got the thought. Pit, what are the levels? Yeah, what are you watching, mate? What are the key areas? You and Jay, I'm always just going over your charts for levels, man. I know you've got some interesting ones here.
Hi legends, glad to be here with you all guys. So let me share my screen quick. So
awesome.
Let's keep it simple, right? As you know, I am mostly like level to level trader, right? So I'm not trying to predict the market. I'm just trading what I see at the moment. And if we're looking at weekly chart, right? As you can see, first time of this whole uptrend, we just broke down below 50 weekly moving average, right? What is, I'm not gonna lie, this is bad sign, right? And what I'm looking at right now, this is the most important range between two gray boxes at the moment. So as you can see, we just closed weekly inside the range and we got some relief at the moment, but honestly, we are still below yearly open. And what's my plan right now? So I'm just, if we zoom out, right? I would love to see, honestly, just one more red test, maybe around those levels or 50 moving average, right? And do something like this. Or if this is not going to happen, right? And if we will break down below this level and confirm. So I think this box here is very good buy zone, right? Some relief. Maybe we will get some accumulation. I don't know. Time will tell. But at the moment, we are in place where I am not interested to take any new positions or swings. We are still below resistance, and I don't want to go FOMO here below resistance. And now it's too late for longs, right? So I'm going to wait for reclaim yearly open and confirm that, maybe weekly close above. Then I will try to long and targeting around 100k, 102k. If we will drop below 83, 85k, so I'm looking for this area here between 74, 780k for potential bonds area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to keep it simple. I don't complicate things. So
Mm-hmm.
this is my plan for the future, for the next days, weeks. Time will tell. Maybe we'll get some accumulation here between in small range. Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my plan mainly on Bitcoin right now, and pretty similar situation is at ETH, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, we exactly bounced at range low here.
Mm-hmm.
Closed weekly inside as well, and we got some relief. And if price can stay above this level, so I'm looking for 3,400. Maybe we will retest this mid range, this area, as this is key level for me at the moment. If we will go, if we will get some room to go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we are going to drop below that level, close, so maybe we can get something similar as previous one. You see those two accumulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can get just similar pattern, and we can get maybe till end of the year some accumulation here below that levels. And in my opinion, this is really good buy zone around 2K to 200. And this is what I'm looking for, and I'm not going to take any position swings at the moment as well here.
Mm-hmm.
So I will definitely watch this level, and potential this level if we will break above mid-range, right? So I'm not longing right now, so I feel a little bit FOMO to go long, to go deep, honestly, and I miss that. And so I'm staying flat, and I'm going to watch in the next days, weeks, what is going to happen. But for me, this range low is key level 2 to 800, right? If we will get clean breakdown below, I'm looking for potential bonds area around this box, around 2K to 200, right?
Nice.
So I just want to keep it simple, you know
Mm-hmm.
my style.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a very similar creature.
Complicate things, you know.
I mean, I'm a very simple creature too. I mean, one of the things I really love about that as well is it really resonates with me. You know, I'm a huge admirer of your levels and stuff like that. And it is funny because we'll get to speak to Trading Tank shortly, and whether, you know, I may be looking for accumulations. Raz is very similar. You guys are very much about those really dialed in levels. It's really funny because they often end up being in similar areas, right? A little bit like.
I think this monthly close will be very important for the market, right?
Yeah, agree.
We close above those supports, maybe there is more room to go higher, right? But at the moment, I am not sure we can. It can be just very shredded, so better be safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, always.
That's all what I think at the moment about.
Especially with these recent conditions that we've had, right? So, yeah, I agree, and I love that idea. You know, for me, looking at that lower accumulation that ETH is testing into now as well, you could easily see ETH slipping back into that previous range, and then asking the really big question: are those buyers still there, right? You know, we probably end up like you showed, flushing out the bottom of that range, breaking out the top of the range. It just the markets are such a tricky vehicle to manage most of the time, but actually, I mean, especially, you know, we've had a really turbulent ride this year. I think everybody has. There's been a lot of major events. I mean, Follis was on the show last and just reeled off like about 5 disastrous things that have just hit the industry recently. And what I love about it was he said them all so quickly and so impassioned that you just know when you see those, you go through those. I mean, how many conversations have we had where you're sat there and you're like, right, this is it, key level, money stepping in, equity markets are hot, DXY is chilling, we should be catching bids here. And you know, obviously it hasn't always worked out like that. But one thing, you know, that I'd like to say before we kind of pass on from this is that one of the things that we always try to do at the Bird Nest is working with a full-time team of traders. Is all of our calls are transparent. There's nowhere to hide. When we're long, when we're short, whatever we're doing, everything's shared in real time, right? So you have to have that justification. You have to have that commitment to trading these. And in really, really difficult times, you know, the team have stayed profitable throughout the whole year. One of the things I'm really most proud of, and I'm not going to sit here and shill the stats to everyone, but you can find them on the website. Raz down there did this amazing job. We now get a counter. All those stats go straight through to the website, all in the public domain, nowhere to hide, right? So it's one thing to have the technicals. It's the next thing to have the conviction to enter those trades, right?
What I can say, I just recommend to do more scalps at the moment.
It's been funny because
very dangerous that this
it's hard to swing, right?
Time for swings, time for scalpers. This is scalp paradise.
And we notice it, right? We notice it in our statistics because we can see through the stats from the trading team calls every month, which we analyze, the measure of swing trades versus scalps versus some really short-term intraday plays. And, you're kind of going back to maybe, April, May, when we really started to get back on board and we a lot more aggressive longs. And the things are 80-90% swing trades with unbelievable returns. Then when we start to hit the chop, you see the scalps start to take over from the swings. And then when it became really tricky, then it's just those intraday plays, being able to kind of trade that liquidity, understand where you can get those little moments. And, I've run the live trading show for ages. Raz came in this year as well. And we've had a lot of fun. Pitt obviously smashing out all the scalps, some amazing swings in there from the tank and from Taha as well. And obviously we haven't got the KZN with us today, right? So that's a real, it's a little bit of a kicker because, having that wonderful on-chain insight as well, which has really, really helped guide us, right? Because a lot of KZM's inputs, understanding what's active on chain, what's not active. So, the next trader I want to bring in is someone that I've admired for a long time. He's probably the biggest OG in the space that we've got here as well, which is the trading tank, right? Now, I don't know how the tank manages to do it, but he's not only an exceptional price action and technical trader, understands tons about the legacy markets. We have some of the best conversations about what's going on in legacy markets, how the macro picture's affecting everything. Also, killer understanding of airdrops on chain, that kind of things as well, right? Which, to be honest, still completely and utterly evades me. So I think, Tank, what are you thinking at the moment? Because this has been, you're a swing trader to your very core, right? As well as somebody that's got exceptional working with airdrops, farming, everything like that. But man, this has been a difficult environment to swing trade.
Yeah, thank you for the intro, Reese. That was nice. And we do have we have some great conversations every single week in our weekly meetings, and it's something that I look forward to all the time. This is so when I'm looking at a market like this, there's no certainties, but I'm looking for, okay, what are the constants? Like what has been the prevailing theme? And I don't want to, maybe I will play devil's advocate a little bit here because the team has been a little bit mixed on the outlook going into 2026. But one thing I do know is that in midterm years, the performance of Bitcoin has not been good. And we've seen double-digit declines actually in all of the midterm election years going back to 2014. And so this is one thing that's kind of a constant, not dependent on the current regime or the regime coming in politically, that is. So I think the political and economic backdrop is super important and super key going into 2026. We have the Fed chair transition, as you've spoken about, and in recent days we've seen Kevin Hassett really emerge as the leader in terms of the stats on like the probabilities on him becoming the next Fed chair. And what we do know about Hassett is that he's an ally of Trump's, being his key economic advisor. He is actually very pro crypto, which is a good thing. He is in favor of aggressive rate cuts. He is in favor of balanced framework for stable coins and crypto. He actually helped to build the Bitcoin strategic reserve. And so he and Trump are working closely together on a lot of these things. And so it's looking more likely that he could become Powell's next successor. And actually he's quite bullish on, he thinks that under Trump's policies that the US could get down to 1% inflation or so, which if you go back to Trump's initial term, I believe they had inflation down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.4, 1.2%. It was down there, like it was quite low. So so I think that I think the odds of Hassett becoming the next Fed chair are overall bullish for crypto, just despite the kind of, you know, midterm backdrop that we have to worry about. Aside from that, we have I mentioned it already briefly, but the crypto market legislation structure.
Yes.
So we have the Responsible Financial Innovation Act. We also have the Clarity Act and other things that could, you know, impact things heading into, I think the Clarity Act could even come down like before the end of the year. So this is heading into 2026. These are important things to look out for. And then we have, we could see, it's possible we could have inflation kind of picking up again heading into 2026. If the rate cuts especially aren't as, you know, happening as quickly as people expect. So we could potentially see a resurgence in inflation. So that's one thing that could hinder markets a little bit. And then if we do see a slowdown in the AI trade, which has been absolutely ballistic this year, you know, if there's any kind of slowdown in NVIDIA in particular, then, you know, that's going to also impact market indexes in a negative way. And yeah, I think aside from that, if we see any kind of like China-US trade war continuing, that's another factor. But if we see a calm down in the Ukraine conflict, and the Middle East conflicts, that could also play into crypto's favor. So it's kind of like this big chess game at the moment where there's so many moving bits and pieces. We have the overall trend that's not in our favor with the midterm year in general. There's been no good midterm years. That doesn't mean to say that altcoins. I know a lot of people tune in to know about altcoins, and it doesn't mean to say that we can't have a good start to 2026 in terms of that market. I really do think that we still could see some kind of alt season, like Taha was saying, and some kind of potentially blow off top there. We've seen right now, it kind of feels like everything is dead, that we're not going to have an alt cycle this season. But typically you have the alt season once BTC has topped, like actually quite significantly after BTC has topped. You'll see that cool down in the dominance chart, and then we go for the alt season. And it's more of a delayed effect than people think. Like it doesn't, you know how markets take weeks to months to bottom. They also take weeks or months to top. And Bitcoin, we could assume it's in that, you know, topping process currently. And then altcoins, you know, at least a local top, and then potentially altcoins go in the next, you know, heading into Q1. That's kind of my bullish scenario, but my overall take, I would say, I guess playing devil's advocate would be that 2026 is, if you're risking full on into crypto, just know that the risk is very high for that, and like the odds aren't in your favor, and also like there's other markets out there too. Like in this coming year, I'm probably going to focus some of my capital more towards trading the legacy market, especially now that legacy is coming full force into crypto. You're having a lot of these exchanges now supporting a lot of the Mag 7 and some of the tech names and all that. So I think that we're seeing more and more of that all the time. So a good way to diversify your portfolio is to think about at least checking out the price action on things like NVIDIA and Tesla and Google and Apple and things like that, and seeing, hey, you know what, there's another market out here, and maybe crypto isn't behaving the way I expect it to be behaving right now. So maybe there's more opportunity to look at some of these high performance equities. So that's kind of my overall, kind of 1,000-foot overview of what I'm seeing going into 2026. I wish it could be more positive overall, but I think there are some. I think there are some positives with the potential switch over, and I think that this crypto regulatory clarity, which I failed terribly to say earlier when I stumbled over my words, is
nailed it
really,
that time though.
is really it could be something that actually kind of helps to stabilize the market. Hopefully, that's kind of my bullish take on that as well.
Awesome, man. Well, I mean, what a wonderful and detailed view. I think one of the things that, well, when I first came into TBN actually, and one of the things when Adrian would host, some of these meetings before, we would do things even as far as doing like secret ballots, right? If you remember, to kind of put our thought process through. So until we really got to understand each other really deeply as a team, so that we didn't influence each other's thought process, right? And what you can see here is that people might sit there and think, Jesus, how do you even, function as a team? Some of you are on the fence, some of you are bullish, some of you are bearish. So that's trading, guys. That's investing for you, right? I think the whole thing is you have to have, and this has come up a lot in the shows that we've done, right? You have to understand the niche that you operate within, right? So for me, for example, say I've got key levels or key accumulations I'm watching, and my strategy, my technicals tell me I'm taking a breakout trade here for X, Y, and Z reason, but I would take that trade every time. Well, there's very little point me then thinking, you know what? Let me go and get some on-chain data to back that up, when I'm not an on-chain person. I don't trade on-chain markets. I don't have that depth of knowledge in there. I don't want to bring that noise into my space. What I want to do is surround myself with really good people that have that understanding, so I can plug that information in. But ultimately, it's my decision. It's my responsibility as a trader or an investor. And, it's on me if I get that right or get that wrong. And I think having the variance of opinions that we have backed up on some really, really incredible points, like Jay's saying, you can't argue with the fact that midterm years are pretty drastically bad for risk assets. And obviously, as we've seen, especially for crypto, the argument with crypto is we've got a relatively small sample size because of how young it is as an asset class. But we have to remember that you can't not respect that. Things like, I'm quite bullish on a new Fed chair coming in, especially with who it's looking like is going to get in. But you can have whoever you want as the Fed chair. They can't cut into an inflation-driven market. Nobody can. It's just a recipe for disaster. So if inflation starts to spiral out of control, they struggle with growth in the US. Trump can shout as much as he wants at the Fed, and you can have as many pro-Trump people in the Fed as you want. Ultimately, it's not going to make sense to cut into those environments. So, we still find ourselves in an area where there's a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of factors still plugging in. Like Jay brought up as well, we've got geopolitical situations as well. The tariffs in the US as well, the trade war that's going on between China and the US, which is very deeply rooted in AI as well, and that real want for control over the AI space. So, you can literally get lost in all this noise if you want to. But I think one of the key factors is, and what I see from you guys and working with you every day, and what I see from the very best traders out there, is that all of that noise, everything you process, news, fundamentals, on-chain, technicals, everything, when it comes to the point that price is at the level or your area of interest and you get that trigger to execute, nobody hesitates. And that is something that does come with time. Yeah, as much as you try and learn these things, as much as you can go niche on your subject, having that understanding, having that exposure to the market. So one thing I would say to people that are maybe watching this, and we've had a lot of questions come in, like, how can I get this information? How can I fast track my learning here? And really, it's lots of hard work, which I know people don't really want to hear, understanding the niche that you're in, but getting yourself to a point where you've got the confidence and you've got the conviction that when your trade plan does come to fruition, you execute on it. You're going to lose a lot. We all lose a lot. It's the nature of the game. We're probably the only industry in the world where, we're taking huge risks when we don't even have all the information available that we would need to take those risks. That's what trading and investing is, right? You're doing everything based on a lack of information rather than having the whole picture. So talking of noise, just everything that kind of goes everywhere, all these big distractions that come into the space. Razoon, who we've got here down here now. Now, Razoon's an exceptional trader, brilliant at scalping, joins me on the intraday shows, wonderful user of volume, TPO, everything like that. In fact, I have been down that rabbit hole for about a year now, and I learned so much from Raz about this and to really try to home in on that. But you know, you're an exceptional coder, Raz. You've got a great understanding of technology. You know, you're doing everything. You do bits and pieces to make sure the website's good. Then we'll be installing new systems and we're making something new. And then there's trading and that. One of the things I've always admired about your trading is that you take what a lot of people think of, or a lot of people see as very complex areas like volume, for example, within trading. And I'm talking about more volume by price and by time. And you really managed to just consolidate that into a very, very nice, simple kind of premise. For example, how long you and I were waiting for that bottom retest on ETH. Yeah, so we're both coming at this from completely different angles. And Raz and I, for about 4 months, were just like, shit, man, they need to take this low out. If they take this low out, we are going to absolutely rip. And they didn't take the low for like 8 months or something, did it? You know, you're sitting there and you've got the patience and you're locked in. But what's your thoughts coming into the close of 2025 and what you're looking forward to in 2026, Raz?
Thanks, Reese, for the introduction. Yeah, that ETH bottom, you know, it's still my best trade.
It was a banger.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I mean, I think something that people in the current crypto space really confuse is that. I mean, there's this investment aspect into the crypto, and there's also the trading part, right?
Yeah.
So you know, when it comes to the investing part or holding or whatever you want to name it, you really need to keep things simple, right? You know, I'm not a huge fan of like indicators. I mean, of course, I can call myself an indicator developer, but I don't really like to use them.
But you do build a lot of really good ones.
yeah, I think I did. but you know, like having those like lagging indicators are just going to add more confusion into the equation that is already like super complex. So that's why I don't do that. But the thing is, if like even when it comes to like investing or like a macro analysis, holding something that I just want to invest my savings in, like even I use indicators. You know, I use the 200-day moving average and just create a clear system for myself where I don't really need to spend a lot of time on it, and I just need to like maybe monitor it once every month and then manage a couple of like transactions, and then I'm done, right? So that's the investing part, right? And that's how I manage to like build it for a system for myself. But the trading part is really something that I'm very passionate about, just like you are, right? I mean, we're always discussing like complex like technicals, talking about footprints, delta, like stuff like that, trading the NQ. I mean, how many times we traded NQ on 15 seconds time frame? So yeah, I mean that's just a completely different story, right? And the fact of the matter is like early on into this cycle, I was really talking with you about like the volume being super low and the order books being thin on BTC on lower time frames, and we literally came to the conclusion that scalping crypto does not really make any sense at the moment, right? So like the risk to reward wasn't there, the fees are high, so it wasn't really worth the trouble, right? So one thing that makes what we did different from what probably others do is that like we had the capability to identify that, and I think a lot of people like find this like they're looking for like a secret a strategy, and they want to just implement it on every market and every cycle on every like coin or ticker. But that's not really how it works. I mean, to be fair, like like trading is like more of a skill, if I may to put it like that,
Mhm.
right? And which you can easily learn. I mean, you can improve. It's not about like uh having that like secret strategy that is making you money somehow, right? It's
Mhm.
not really about that. And like 2025 really proved a lot of people wrong, I mean, including me,
Yeah.
of course. But
Yeah, all of
uh,
everyone pretty much.
I mean, the fact is that we did get that seasonal move that we were expecting on BTC, right? We got like about 700% move on BTC, from the all time from the low of this
Mhm.
cycle, right? 16K. And BTC went up about 700%, right?
Mhm.
It broke through the 100K level, which was this
Mhm.
sacred level that everybody was talking about.
Mhm.
But you see a lot of like altcoins didn't really do that. All right.
Mhm.
And like I want to give my unpopular opinion here, and I want to say that's a very good thing actually for the market,
Mhm.
because I don't really think that. I mean, I know Jay, and unfortunately we don't have Kaz here today with
Mhm.
us. I think these guys also can confirm that we didn't really see like a breakthrough in the blockchain industry, right? I
Mhm.
mean, everything like back in the day in 2021, like and 2017, like we had like new concepts like smart
Mhm.
contracts, right? I mean, these are revolutionary ideas, or oracles, for example, things like
Mhm.
that. I mean, security coins and stuff like that. But I mean, like I'm not really the expert here, all right, and I don't really spend a lot of time, just like Jay and Kaz spend on researching about the fundamentals. But like I mean, based on my brief research this cycle, things were like more like copy pasta, I would say, this
Yeah.
cycle from things that worked previously, basically.
Mhm.
All
And a
right.
mass
Now,
oversaturation, right? So many of
yeah,
them coming out.
yeah, but and you see that I mean, the markets are really evolving. All right, people
Mhm.
people are trying to copy paste what happened in 2017 and 2021, but they're never going to get the same results. All right, and I
Mhm.
think this cycle really proved that to us. All right,
Mhm.
you see like BTC making new all-time highs because it's logical, right? I mean, we talked about it. Like I wasn't really in doubt that BTC is going to make a new all-time high
Mhm.
when we were retesting like 15K levels when FTX crashed, Luna crashed. I mean, I knew for sure because like it's very simple logic. Like there's this halving event for BTC,
Mhm.
and like it's very logical that the value is going to increase after
Mhm.
every halving, right? Uh, but the altcoin market is just a completely different story, right?
Mhm.
And I think those that really added the value, they actually run pretty good. Like I mean, let's talk about like one of the outliers this cycle was Hyperliquid,
E-
right?
Yeah, XMR as well, right? Monero. I know if Kaz was with us right now,
And
he would be
Zcash,
saying,
right?
yeah, yeah, Zcash
I
as
mean,
well, right? I
things
mean,
like that did really perform.
mhm.
So I mean, the thing really is that like I know a lot of people are probably disappointed at what happened this cycle with the altcoins, and I'm not saying that it's over yet, at least.
Mhm.
But I mean, the thing is, the market is becoming more mature, the crypto market,
Yeah.
right? And that's a very good thing for the industry, and I
Mhm.
really enjoy still. I mean, researching about that and trading them, like things that are happening in this space
Mhm.
are in a long term are very good for us and for the entire industry.
Mhm.
So yeah, I know maybe your moon bags didn't really make you millions this cycle, but overall, I think it's a very good thing for the market.
Mhm.
I mean, my last point is that I mean, essentially, when you see environments like this, the most important thing is to identify it, which
Mhm.
which we did at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
And the problems that I have with trading indices, right? I still can't really trade the actual CME, right? So I trade
CFDs for
on
you, my
CFD.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I trade on CFD, which I hate, by the way. But I have to. I mean, I need to adapt. And starting from the beginning of this year, we both switched to trading NQ.
Mhm.
All right. And it worked out pretty pretty good for the entire team, and
Mhm.
I am sure a lot of members did really enjoy those sessions, right? And
Mhm.
I was really reviewing the stats, which is, by the way, which everybody can see them live on
Mhm.
the website, by the way. And yeah, I mean, the stats were pretty good, right? But
Mhm.
if we really were to we could be still like obsessed with the scalping the crypto market, I mean, we would have been wrecked, right?
It would have
And
been a
I
lot more
guess,
difficult, yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's basically something that I think a lot of people need to think about, and
Mhm.
we need to adapt. We are still in earlier stages, and yeah, that's what we're doing at the purpose, right?
I think that's a brilliant point to close on as well. What I would say is, just before we shut this up, because unfortunately we've run out of time, is that if you look at all the points raised by everyone here, everything from diversification, right? Not just in your actual portfolio, but maybe looking to spread your skill sets out a bit more. If you're a technical trader, if you're a fundamental trader, if you're a swing trader, etc., whatever your niche is, it doesn't just have to be in crypto. You can look to expand their skill set into legacy markets as well, right? And like Jay pointed out earlier as well, a wonderful trading tank. You're looking at a lot of crypto companies that are now facilitating that transaction as well. Yeah. So crypto-backed digital assets that reflect NASDAQ, S&P 500, equities, legacy market stocks, etc. But it's also about understanding the environment, like Raz is telling us about. It doesn't always mean that you're going to get all your trades right. Nobody does, right? But you have to understand the environment you're in and what type of trading it fits. Ultimately, if you're just banging swing trade after swing trade from good levels, a good understanding of your strategy, you're just getting absolutely melted. Probably to step back and just take a kind of broader look at the picture that's in front of you and understand that environment you're in. I think that's what we've handled really well this year as a team, actually, is the understanding of what type of environment we're in and what's the best one to play, where to put extra effort and extra capital, where to back away, where to be a little bit more speculative. But ultimately, I don't just think from our team here, I think from the guests that we've had on the show as well, it's about the investment in yourself. It's about the investment in your education. It's about surrounding yourself with very good people. And look, you can't ever afford to stand still in this industry. It's full of amazingly passionate people. But sometimes that passion lacks direction. And I think the very best traders, including the people that I'm very blessed to surround myself with here, all work incredibly hard, but very structured as well. Understand the niche, understand what they want to achieve, understand how they're going to get there, and ultimately willing to take the hits on the way. I didn't get to drop this really cheesy comment because it's from a Rocky film, but something Follis said earlier made me think about this. And look, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how many times you can get hit, get knocked down, and just have that ability to get up and get up and get up. And another cliche statement, which is, the night is always darkest before the dawn, meaning that there's probably no one here in this group or any guest that we had on the show that hasn't been to the very bottom of the motivational, emotional pile of just feeling like you either feel completely lost or things have really got away from you. To have that ability to regroup, to knuckle down and to rebuild, or to just find that confidence again is amazing. And look, surround yourself with amazing people. That's what I'm blessed with, and every day, like the tank mentioned earlier, we step in and we just come in on a Monday, and it's one of my favorite places to be. All right. Look, guys, thank you all so much for joining me. Everybody that's watching, I hope you've had at least a little bit of insight to what we get to do on a weekly basis. Please do remember, you still get all of this to come. We've still got through all the way and through till Monday. If you want to make the most of any of the Cyber Monday deals or Black Friday deals, which are now live, by the way, you can find all the information down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can find it over at the Birdnest Twitter profile. If not, you can reach out to me, BC Richfield. You can reach out to Just Pit, Trading Tank Taha, or Razoon. And if you're not already over with us in the Discord, we hope to see you over there very soon. So, chaps, thank you so much for your time and your wonderful market insights. And to all of our amazing viewers, thank you so much. We wish you an amazing close to 2025. We hope to have you with us for a lot longer than that, of course. And if we don't catch you before, a wonderful festive season and the most amazing 2026. Take care, legends, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks, guys.